Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me for this explainer because we are unpacking something that is literally rewiring the tech landscape right now. We're looking at the monumental shift from chatbots to AI agents. Our whole goal today is to demystify this massive leap. We're talking about moving away from AI that just politely answers your questions to systems that actually roll up their sleeves and do the work for you. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's start by throwing a massive, high-friction project at a traditional chatbot just to highlight its limitations. Imagine taking a monster of a request, something like research the market, create a spreadsheet, identify opportunities, and prep an executive summary, and pasting that into standard ChatGPT. What actually happens? Well, it's going to give you a beautifully written, convincing outline of an executive summary, right? But it doesn't actually build the spreadsheet. It doesn't go out and conduct deep market research across multiple databases over several hours. It just gives you text. It tells you how to do the work instead of actually doing the work itself. And that brings us to the crucial point here. AI is moving from generating answers to completing goals. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in the industry. We're asking AI to graduate from being a highly articulate encyclopedia to becoming a goal-oriented engine. This isn't just a minor feature upgrade, it's an entirely new paradigm for how we interact with machines. Section 1. Chatbots versus AI agents. Understanding the paradigm shift. Let's really contrast the two. The chatbot paradigm is strictly linear. A question goes in, an answer comes out. Like if you ask for the best laptop for your needs, it just spits out a quick list of recommendations based on its training data. But on the flip side, the agent paradigm is an entire life cycle. It moves from goal to plan to actions to observations and finally to a result. Give an agent that exact same laptop prompt, and it actually gathers your specific requirements, formulates a search plan, actively browses current product specs and prices, applies your budget constraints, evaluates all those options, and presents a fully researched recommendation. So by definition, an AI agent system is a framework where a large language model is surrounded by systems that allow it to reason, use tools, observe results, and take multiple actions to achieve a goal. What's fascinating here is that the LLM is still the brain, it's still the core, but that surrounding architecture is what unlocks the ability to take action. The model is now just one piece of a much larger, more dynamic puzzle. Section 2. How AI agents work. The anatomy of an agent. Let's look under the hood at this process-driven loop. You start with a goal. The agent then creates a plan. Next, it takes an action. But right here's where the magic happens. It actually observes the results of that action and evaluates it against your original goal. Did it work? Did it fail? If it hit an error, it doesn't just stop, it replans and acts again. It continuously checks its own work, recovers from mistakes, and pushes forward until the goal is met and it delivers that final result. There's a quote I absolutely love that changes how we think about this. The intelligence is not only inside the model, it also comes from the system around the model. Think about that. It means things like short-term memory, state management, and those continuous feedback loops we just talked about are just as vital as the core language model itself. The surrounding framework is exactly what elevates the model from a talker to a doer. Now, you might be wondering why now? Why is this sudden shift happening today? Well, all these broad technological improvements are finally maturing at the exact same time. We've got stronger reasoning models that don't lose the plot as easily. We have longer context windows, so the AI can remember way more of the task at hand. Add in incredible coding capabilities and better tool use, where the AI can literally write a script to solve a problem on the fly, and suddenly you have systems capable of handling incredibly complex, multi-step workflows. Section 3. What agents can do. Turning potential into action. So what can these systems actually do out in the real world right now? Across industries, the capabilities are expanding rapidly. In software, agents aren't just writing snippets of code anymore. They're actively investigating bugs and running tests autonomously. In data, they're not just explaining SQL to you, they're querying databases and synthesizing information to create full reports. For business, they're running deep competitor analysis. And for everyday productivity, they're executing those tedious, multi-step workflows that used to take human analysts hours or even days to pull together. But let's take a quick reality check here, because we absolutely need to manage our expectations. We have to draw a hard line between the highly specific workflows that are possible today versus what's still experimental. There's a ton of exaggerated marketing hype out there promising fully autonomous, flawless AI employees that you just hire and forget about. Look, that is not reality yet. Today, agents thrive when they're executing narrow, clearly defined, multi-step tasks.
Section 4, the risk of taking action, the stakes of autonomy.
Because when you move from simply answering questions to actually taking action in the real world, you introduce catastrophic risks. Think about it. A hallucinated answer from a chatbot is a mild annoyance. You roll your eyes, rephrase, and ask again. But an autonomous agent executing a bad database operation or deploying broken code, what about sending the completely wrong email to your executive board or executing a bad financial calculation? That is not an annoyance. That is a catastrophe. The stakes of failure skyrocket the moment a system has the power to act.
And because the stakes are so incredibly high, these agents fundamentally require strict guardrails before they can be trusted. You can't just hand an agent the keys to your entire company network. We need robust system permissions. We need mandatory human approval checkpoints, where the agent does all the legwork, but a real human still clicks send or deploy. Add in continuous activity monitoring and strict security protocols, and it's basically like we're building the brakes at the exact same time we're building the engine. So the crucial point we have to take away from this is that agentic AI creates an entirely new reliability problem. The biggest challenge for the industry right now isn't just making AI smarter or more articulate. The challenge is making its autonomous actions reliable, observable, and deeply secure. Because at the end of the day, intelligence is completely useless if it's a massive liability. Section 5. The evolution of software. The bigger shift. To truly grasp the magnitude of what we're talking about, let's zoom out and look at the historical timeline of software. Era 1 was traditional software, right? Humans defined every single step of the logic. Era 2 brought us the chatbot. The human asks, the AI answers. Era 3 was tool-using AI, where the system might ping a calculator or check a weather API. But now, we're entering Era 4, the AI agent. The human merely sets the goal, and the software itself figures out the sequence of actions and executes them. We've officially moved from dictating the process to simply dictating the destination. To sum up this explainer, if there's one concept I want you to burn into your mind, it's this. Chatbots are optimized for conversations. They want to talk. But agents are designed around goals and actions. They want to do. That is the fundamental difference driving the future of work.
And we've really only scratched the surface today with these short interactions. But what happens when an AI agent runs for days, weeks, or even months? If an agent can execute a complex goal in a few minutes, imagine the architecture required to let one run totally autonomously on a massive project for weeks. Well, get ready, because long-running AI agents are exactly what we'll explore in our next explainer. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you next time.